All right, so I needed to actually drive the car around a little bit today. So I went ahead and I am moving, what we have here is the Hivemapper. I'm going to move that to this car and drive around a little bit, and just talk about what Hivemapper is about, and how you could actually get Hivemapper yourself if you wanted to. Although, interestingly enough, I think if Tesla chose to do what Hivemapper is doing, they could completely negate any use case for Hivemapper, if they so choose, because they have cameras all around the cars. But we'll talk about it in just a moment. So today we're going to talk about Hivemapper. All right, so this is the Hivemapper camera. So this is actually an older model of the Hivemapper camera. And what Hivemapper does is they actually outsource mapping to anybody that would like to purchase one of these cameras. And so basically, if they purchase this camera and they mount it on their vehicle, so I always mount mine up here at the top. So if they mount their camera up there and they take images of all of the roads that they drive on, Hivemapper will actually send you a small reward and honey tokens. So they send you honey tokens based on basically how many miles that you've driven and taken pictures of. So you do need to make sure that you get a decent picture of the road. So there are things that you need to do to make sure it's mounted properly and make sure the angle of it is correct and that sort of thing. It does come with an actual cable that hooks into a lighter outlet, but first of all, I don't have the, we do have one here in the Tesla, but it's hard to get to back in here. And I didn't want to run a wire that far to get it. So actually what I did is I changed the cable into a USB cable. And then I got little batteries and I swap out the batteries on this as needed. And I put this little Velcro on here so the battery just attaches like that. And then you just plug the USB in there. And when the battery runs out, I just have to swap out the battery. I have 3 of these batteries and I just charge them actually down here in the console. So what we do is plug it in, drive around, and obviously I drive around anyway, so that's not a big deal. Basically, you make those rewards for all the streets that you map. The newer streets that are unmapped count more than streets that are mapped frequently, but you also do get credit still if you map something, say for the 10th time or whatever, because they actually are concerned with getting frequently updated maps so that they can count on that data being fresh. So every week, if a road hasn't been driven on in a week or been mapped with Hivemapper, then they basically would want to get the full rewards for that street because there could be road work or something could have changed on that street. So when we first started this, it actually was pretty profitable. Like you would get, sometimes I actually one week got like $200 in rewards for mapping. Obviously, as more people did this and more streets were mapped, they had less value. And so now it gets down to, without driving very much, in a typical week, I probably make like $5 or something in the week. But again, I'm not doing anything. I'm just driving how I would normally drive and just have the camera set up in the car. So the only annoyance is swapping out the batteries. And I guess, it maybe is sort of annoying for it to be up there on the windshield. But other than that, basically it cost me nothing. And, whatever, $1 a day or something is not nothing. When we go on a road trip, I actually end up getting more like, $20 to $30 or something for that week. Again, just driving like we would drive anyway. But then we actually get the rewards for that. So it's definitely not something that I would say you should do if you want to make money. But if you are, say, an Uber driver or something like that, and you drive around a lot already, this is another way that you could make some money with Hivemapper. Just set up the camera in your car. And like I said, it's just kind of passive income because you're driving anyway. Now, The initial camera, I don't know what it is right now. I think it's like $500 or $600. So it would take you a decent amount of time to make up that money. Assuming you drive a lot, maybe that'd be like 15 weeks or something. So it'd be a few months before you would make up the cost of that, but then you would be making money on it. Now, what's interesting though is that it's just taking the picture of just from one camera. So there's just one camera here on this device, and it's it's a high definition camera, sure, but I think it is like 5K or something. But it's just the one picture, and it's just taking a picture every couple seconds or whatever based on the GPS location, and then they send that back to Hivemapper and collect it all and put it into the system and verify that it's accurate and where it is, and make sure that the map is updated, and then they can sell the map to companies that need that mapping data. But what's interesting is Tesla could literally overnight destroy this company because they have millions and millions of miles, and every day they're taking tons of data. So they could opt into just saving that and making HD maps, and they would be super fresh all the time based on anywhere Teslas are driving. And obviously I'm driving a Tesla all the time, so all of my pictures would be the same, except you have multiple cameras on a Tesla. So they do a Hivemapper. You can get like a side, you can get another camera and do the side image, and you can do the front image. So you can actually do both at the same time for all of your driving and get more credit that way. But Tesla already has cameras on both sides of the vehicle, on the front and on the back. So they could take images from all around the vehicle all the time and get the most up-to-date images for all of the road data. So it's interesting that Hivemapper, is something that is interesting and better than I think what Google is doing, because they can actually get fresher maps. Google has to send out an individual car to whatever area they want mapped, and they have to do it every so often. So in a lot of cases, Google is out of date by years because they haven't had a chance to get another car out in that area. But with Hivemapper, they can actually get people all over the world driving around frequently and getting all of these different areas. And they can actually reward people for getting maps, reward them more for getting maps in areas that they don't have currently fresh data for. It would be awesome if Tesla would do the same thing, honestly, if they just said, hey, you can, get a little bit of, say, Tesla credits or something on the store if you were willing to share this map data with us, the images, and also we'll give you more credits if you go in certain areas. So they, like, if they had an area that say that they needed to get better mapping data from in, say, a region or a city that they wanted to do robotaxi in, well, they could encourage people to go out there, pay them a little bit more in rewards points for getting those miles and covering all those areas, and essentially validating those areas with map data for them to use for robotaxi. That would be a really interesting thing that they could definitely do, and I think would be, I certainly would be interested in doing that, not only because I would want to get the reward for doing it, but also because hopefully I would be able to help them get robotaxi available in our area sooner. So anyway, just something that would be interesting to think about Tesla doing. But for now, just wanted to talk about Hivemapper and how Hivemapper works. So yeah, if you're interested, check it out. It's definitely something to look into. Again, if you are a person that is already driving a lot, it makes sense to probably just, have this on there and have a little way of making a little bit extra money anyway. So anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.